Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Hard 100, a video series documenting the culling of my collection from what it is, what it's going to be. That's a hard 100 games. I haven't done the rules in a minute, so let me go ahead and refresh you on the rules. Rule number 1, I can't get rid of a game until I've played it. Rule number 2, the expansion plus the game equals 1 game. And rule number 3, once I get this business over here down to a hard 100, it's 1 in, 1 out. Now the last rule is kind of one we're going to focus on today. I just got finished playing a brand new game that I was very excited about as soon as I heard about it, and that was about 2 weeks ago. A few videos ago, I talked about the board gamers' best way to get into playing Warhammer. And then guess what they went and gone did? They went and gone made a board game. Space Marines Adventures Labyrinth of the Necrons, a game of heroic action in the far future, is a game published by Games Workshop and designed by who the fuck knows. It's not on the box, it's not in the manual. I could not find who designed this game. Bad form. What this is a co-op. What this game has you doing is going through a Labyrinth of the Necrons. The Necrons are kind of, as far as I understand it, zombie mechanically things. What you're really doing is something very simple. It might be better if I just show you. All right, so I'm going to walk you through a turn. What we do, we turn over an initiative card. Boom, Blood Angels, this red gentleman here. We go down here. He has a special ability that lets him look at the top of the Necron deck. Has a range of 6 and 4 actions. So we're going to take a peek at this to see what it is. It's going to show us that it's going to appear on the number 4, and there's some other stuff going on. So no matter what, I want to try to make sure 4 is clear. So he gets 4 actions. He's basically move and attack. It's basically all you can do. So we get 4 actions. So I'm going to go 1, 2. I'm going to go ahead and try to attack him for 3 and 4 by using my little die. Looking for 6s to hit the Warlord. That's a 4. That's a 2. So, and done. Goes to the next turn. It's my Ultramarine who is dead. And that's the whole game. The game has you taking your 4 Space Marines, even though there's 5, you get to pick 4 of them, and you're going through a labyrinth trying to do the thing in the middle, roll a die, and then get to one of the exits. And that's it. So whenever you get to the thing in the middle, you have to roll a 6. There are 3 missions that come with the game. On the first mission, you have to roll a 6. On the second mission, you have to roll a 6. On the third mission, you actually get to fight an overlord. And get this, you have to roll a 6 3 times before you can leave. It sounds like I'm being a bit of a dick here. The game is simple. I played this game 3 times. I played all 3 missions by myself. And at no point during the game was I not having fun. The problem is, I don't think I'll ever play it again. Maybe. So you co-op through the game, you're playing on your own. I played on my own, but you can play with up to 4. And on your turn, you have a certain number of actions dictated by the actions on your card. And you moving a square is an action, and making an attack is an action. And an attack, you just have line of sight, up, down, left, right, diagonals, and you roll a die, and on a certain number, depending on the person you're hitting, based on their defense, you hit. 1 hit kills it. And then the game fights back in a very interesting way, because on every turn, as you saw, you are flipping over a card, and that's the next person who has initiative. Every Space Marine has 2 goes around, and all the Necrons have 4 goes around. So you can kind of sort of plan based on a couple of things. Some powers last until the end of the round, so you want to use them early. So it's actually a pretty neat system as far as determining turn order and initiative. The Necrons fight back, and the game fights back. By every time you flip a card, one of the 6 spawn points will generate a Necron. And you just draw them from a bag, which is lovely. And when you draw them from a bag, you place them on the number. If that number is filled, then you would place it on every adjacent marking around it. And then it just kind of pandemic-like spreads around until it's covering a large area. And if you ever have to put a little deuter in a place where you already have a deuter, you get wounded. And you take your fancy little card and you flip it, and now you're wounded. It doesn't really count as anything other than a hit point. Basically, everyone has 2 hit points and then they're dead. And there are ways that you can heal and that kind of thing. Your stats don't get worse whenever you get wounded. It's just kind of how it is. There are some cards that work if you are wounded and some cards that will heal you. At the beginning of every game, everyone gets to draw 2 cards and pick 1 item to put in front of them. And the card quality components across the board are fantastic. The game comes with minis that you have to assemble. And I've been down this road before, so I was ready with my clippers to actually cut them out of the sprues and glue them together, but it said you didn't need glue, and I was like, ha ha ha, no, no, no. I have these push-to-fit models before, and they're a pain in the ass to get out of there. It's better if I pull them out. I was just gonna play the game initially with the bases, and then, because I didn't really feel like putting together the models or anything like that, but then the bases just popped out easy. And I was like, what? And so I popped out all of the other ones, and it was super easy to pop them out and put them all together. It took less than 5 minutes to put them all together. They snapped apart, everything was great. Now, if I was gonna paint them and model them, of course, I'd take a little bit more time and file off some of the rough edges, but for a board game, it was perfect. The only problem is the yellow guys, the fisty yellow guys, I forget what they're called. His head didn't want to stay in, his head just popped out, but everyone comes with two heads, like a helmet head and a non-helmet head, so you can mix and match, but I'm a bit of a lore whore, so the idea of them running around without their helmets on seems a little blasphemous to me. Gotta have that helmet on, gotta protect that head. So a lot of the items that you pick, some of them are specific to certain factions, and let's see if I can get these right. Ultramarine, Blood Angel, Salamander, Grey Wolf, and then whatever the yellow ones are, I don't know. Imperial Fist? That seems right? I don't know. The game itself, like I mentioned, I played it 3 times and I never had a bad time. The only way you lose this game is if you don't plan. So if you can play this game where you don't take a single hit. If you're able to stay far enough away from things where whenever they do, if they do spawn, it doesn't come to you. And the Blood Angel actually has a special ability that lets them look at the next Necron card. So that kind of gives you an idea, at least twice around, I can figure out what's coming next and plan accordingly. The only way you're going to lose this game is if you roll nothing but ones. This game lives and dies on the roll of the die. Every person actually has their own color die, but I was playing just solo, so I just had the one dice, or the one die. It was fun. Like, this feels like a starter pack, because it comes with a handful of boards that are all mix and match, and you can pick any board and you can play any of the missions, and you can actually link them all together in a campaign, which I didn't do. I looked at some of the challenges that would make the game a little harder, and it's just a little extra like, oh, if you do this, then that, it's okay. I wanted to find a way to make the board bigger, like to do more, but that would kind of take away from the crampedness of it. Housekeeping. On the front, lovely. You're not gonna put the designer on the box, but you're gonna put this on the front. That's fine. Ages 8 and up. So the game is standard Warhammer. It's standard like grim, and the art is awesome. And you're shooting basically robot zombies. So that's not a big deal. But as far as simplicity goes, this is one of these simpler games that I have. Like on your turn, you have three or four actions. You can move and shoot. And then use a card as a free action. Some of the things take free actions. Move and shoot, that's it. Or you can use an action to activate the console in the middle, whatever. 30 to 45 minutes. I've played it solo. Once you get humming, game's like 20, 25 minutes tops. It's not very long at all. If you play with 4 people, which let's go over 1 to 4 player co-op. There's just not enough to do for 4 people to sit around a table. But for 1 person, or even with someone else, I think it'd be a fun time. This is not a bad game. It's simple. I don't know if I'll ever play it again. I feel like this one here needs expansions. There's a couple of things you might want to know as well. This game was 40 bucks, $39.95. And I got it at Barnes & Noble because this is only available at Barnes & Noble as far as I understand here in Texas, along with the Blitz Bowl game, which we may be taking a look at soon. So this, as far as I understand, I know Games Workshop has made some bigger games in the past, your Space Hulks, your Dread Fleets, your things like that. But as far as like board game one-off kind of smaller games, it's $40. The insert is there, it's awesome. It has a little spot for all the dice, it has separate wells for the cards. Your little dudes still stay put together in there. I don't know how well this box is gonna travel with the dudes rattling around in there, but it's fine. It's fun. But here's the thing, that rule number 3, where once I get this down to a hard 100, it's 1 in, 1 out. What we have here is what I feel is a starter pack, and I hope if Games Workshop is anything to go by, they will put out game after game after game and all kinds of stuff. So for right now, Space Marine Adventures is in the hard 100, but the first game that I need to get rid of is gonna be Space Marine Adventures. Unless they can give me a reason to keep it. Some expansions or some more missions or some card packs or something to spice it up, to give me more to do. Games Workshop, please give me a reason to keep this long term, because right now I enjoyed the play. I'll play it with someone else just to kind of see how it is, but I need more. Maybe I'll try the campaign through it to see if I can last all the way through, but the missions are all the exact same. The boards are very similar. I want more to it, but as far as a game goes, this is the most simple game that I own probably. As far as you just roll and shoot, what do you want to do? It's a beer and pretzels kind of game, and I love those kind of games. Give me a reason to keep it, Games Workshop. Because once I get this business down to a hard 100, it's one in. Space Marine Adventures, out. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Billy. This has been the Hard 100. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you and yours are well. Peace out.